This is not Chatham House, I'm presuming, so I'll be very...
This query could be Chatham House. We will not document.
Yeah. I mean,
we can.
It's very hard to convince a journalist that anything is off the record. But it's typical of this government that it's put its cart before the horse. The numbers being thrown out. As far as I know, the homework has not been done of how to reach this number. It's a tendency that the new government does have on various fronts, not just in energy and environment, that it does tend to throw a large number and then work backwards to see if it can achieve it. As far as I know, they've stopped the second bidding process to revise and see whether they can achieve it. They are at least a mile away from seeing if the finances would be available even in the short run or in the long run to achieve it. The assessment of land and water availability for these projects, the first peripheral study suggests that it's impossible in the target that they have. The first raw assessment of finances, most banking institutions, most financial institutions have said it will need a complete overhaul of the support mechanism that's required to provide finances to these projects, again because it requires upfront complete capital investment and a repatriation over a long period of time, which the financial mechanisms at the moment don't allow. Now, can the government turn it around and make those possible? It's going to be a huge burden on the government, considering it is also going to ramp up a lot of other investments, and it is looking at curtailing fiscal deficit at current levels without high disinvestments as it had initially thought it would be able to achieve. It will be at least 3 to 4 months before they can have a good sense of whether this target is achievable or not. But then it's an aspirational goal. Nobody said this is set in law. We've not reached a point where we shall have a domestic law on climate change. If we have a domestic law on climate change, we have no clue whether it will have a target on renewable energy in it or not. We are so far away from it that we've not even seen a proposition on it as far. So I think it's still a number in the air. It's a good number to throw up and see what happens. But beyond that, I don't think the homework's been done as yet.
Thanks, Nidhi. Sudhir, can you speak and we'll see if our mics are working? Sudhir?
Good morning, Sanjay. Good afternoon. Yes, can you hear me clearly?
No. Not very clear. Very vague.
Mic if you can.
Get more mics there.
Maybe a couple of more mics.
Couple of more mics? Okay.
Keep it closer to the mic on top or bend the mic.
Okay. This is, let me, up bolo.
Is this better?
No. No, it's not catching. It's not catching. इसमें वो है क्या वो लगा देते हैं स्पीकर नॉब्स अब बोलो yeah I think external speakers अच्छा बोलो
I think it's loud enough if we can concentrate, we can hear what is being done.
No, it's not. एक मिनट होल्ड करो जरा. Let's. No need to reconnect. It's our audio system which is. I think these are speakers. हम एक external mic लेके आ रहे हैं if that works. ठीक है? आ गया भाई, वायर भी आ गया. कहाँ पर? अब बोलो जरा. Oh, bus. This is clear? It's very loud. We need to reduce it.
It's shrill, too loud.
And shrill, I think he has gone to do something.
Can you hear me, Sanjay?
Now it's better. Yes. Go ahead. Well,
Okay.
Nafisa is chairing, so I'll just provide technical support.
Yes.
Okay.
Go ahead. Should I ask him? Yeah, go
Thank
ahead.
you, Sanjay, and good afternoon, everyone. And thanks, Rita and Sanjay, for bringing me in on this discussion. It would have been even better if I would have heard to what the others were saying, but unfortunately can't travel for that far. I guess, I mean, we have had a long discussion, and I was hearing to some parts of it just now, and some of the grounds that I'm going to be covering would have already been covered. And as I stand between you and a tea break, I'll try to be brief. Let us see. Now, before I launch into, since INDC is one of the key issues, Sanjay, is this, guys hearing me?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes, go ahead.
Okay. So, I mean, as we, I'm sure was talked about earlier, INDC's decision text is going to be one of the main outcomes of Lima, along with the draft elements of outcome in Paris. Now, just to step back a bit and kind of put it in context as to what these INDCs are, if you want to summarize, essentially it is nothing but Lama Country Pledge 2, essentially a continuation of the Bali process, where, if we all recollect, the mitigation numbers were never formalized. I mean, we have the mitigation numbers, we know all these mitigation numbers which EU, US, India, China and others put up, but they were all part of an information document, which is just that, an information document. It was never in any legal way anchored in any of the CoP decisions, except for a reference to an information document. Now, the reason I'm linking it back is that this seems to be, at least looking at it from a developed country agenda, the unfinished part of the Bali Action Plan. From a developed country perspective, Bali Action Plan, all the other three pillars were addressed. The finance, the technology and the adaptation, all the institutional framework were put in place, and we have a long session on institutional framework following this. The only aspect which was not covered was mitigation, and especially a parity which most of the developed countries wanted among all the countries, at least in context of how they legally get anchored within the UNFCCC process. So it's very important to see this in that particular perspective and the differences which are there among the developed and developing countries. Now, if we go back, so thus the ADP process was that step of taking the Cancun outcome to the next level where mitigation gets legally anchored within the UNFCCC process. And it is in that context that one of the two things which are coming up in the discussions now among the INDCs is that what should be the contents of an INDC. From a large number of developed countries, or all the developed countries, it should be purely a mitigation, and as I mentioned, why. Whereas from a number of developing countries, it should go beyond mitigation. A lot of them would like adaptation to be part of it, and a number of countries would also like developed countries to put in their finance or contributions in their INDCs as part of that. Now, that is one of the central issues which is still hanging in the air and not yet resolved. Now, if you go back to this particular question and look at the Warsaw outcome, Warsaw outcome was quite silent on this particular aspect. There is an underlying assumption in the Warsaw outcome which calls upon submitting INDCs as just a paragraph, so it's not actually much of detail. And if you look at the Warsaw outcome, there the elements, all the elements which are mentioned in the Durban outcome are mentioned in reference to the draft decision text, draft text for a Paris outcome, but it does not talk about those in context of INDCs. All it talks about in Warsaw is that it should be submitted well before Paris, or first quarter of 2015, for those who are in position to do so. And it talks about that there needs to be a discussion on information that needs to be included in INDCs for clarity, transparency and understanding. Now, for some, this particular phrase on clarity is to be interpreted, information is to be interpreted that what information will go into INDCs, whereas from developed country perspective, the information that is being talked about is purely mitigation information. That since the mitigation numbers which are put in by the countries should be clear enough in terms of being able to assess what is the aggregate level of reduction achieved by all the INDCs and how does that particular number stand vis-a-vis what is required to keep within the 2-degree goal, or to look at or assess that how far one would be from a 1.5-degree goal. So that's one of the key aspects which is the Warsaw decision was quite silent on, and I mean quite a few of us were there in Warsaw, and it was a very hard negotiated text. So no wonder that a lot of things were kept under the surface, and the vagueness of language allowed it to be adopted in Warsaw. And what is more interesting also is that if you look at the Warsaw decision, it doesn't talk about equity or CBDR, except for referring to the old decisions, and not definitely in context of INDCs. So that is another set of issue which will keep coming up in terms of essentially how does that equity CBDR play out, and whether that equity CBDR would have a role in a review and assessment of what each country is doing or how each country is performing according to its equitable share. So that reference needs to be kept in mind. Now, if we move on to seeing how things have turned out over the year, 1 year of discussions, it's quite interesting to look at the decision text that has been put forward by the co-chairs, which is now available on the website. It does bring back the reference in the preamble to the convention principles, including equity and CBDR, stating that it recognizes that each of the contribution would be in context of the principles of convention. So I think one of the aspects of that differentiation has been brought back, which was not there in Warsaw. From that, if you look at it from that particular perspective. But on the issue of whether it should purely be a mitigation contribution or whether it should be mitigation plus contribution in terms of developed countries putting up finance requirements and developing countries putting up their adaptation requirement, the text is kind of quite nicely crafted. It doesn't rule out other elements to be reported by saying that there has to be a mitigation element. It's got an interesting language. And it also is quite interesting to see that it does refer to all the other elements of the Durban decision on ADB, but at the same time qualifies that each of these elements have different time frames and uniqueness. Now, the point being that a lot of developed countries have been saying that they are not in a position within their own legal and regulatory framework to put up any kind of a number which can be seen as a long-term financial contribution. Normally the way the budgets work is on a year-to-year basis and the allocations are made on a yearly basis. Therefore, putting up a number which reflects a kind of a target for a period from 2020 to 2030 would be very difficult. Now, why is that interesting is essentially I think there is an underlying issue there of now what will happen to the INDC and what is the outcome, nature of the outcome going to be in Paris, whether it is going to be a legally binding protocol and this would be then an annex to the protocol which lists out the contribution, because in that particular case if this is a legally binding commitment and the numbers in the INDC are listed as part of that, then the finance commitment also becomes equally legally binding. And then along with the aspect of a compliance mechanism that becomes kind of quite a stringent framework within which the developed countries have to work. So that is the point that they are trying to get away with, in the sense not the developed countries, or at least EU, is very keen on a legally binding commitment on the mitigation side, but not on the finance side. That's something which they want to keep it open and not bound to any kind of a compliance or a MRV check. So that's the play there. So that is going to be one of the areas of discussions and negotiations, but I don't see that it would move forward beyond that particular point. But it also leaves the space open for developing countries, those who might want to put forward their adaptation contributions. And now adaptation contribution has to be understood, and I think most of you do understand that, in a different context. It is essentially more outlining that what do they need to do in terms of adaptation, and what are the requirements in terms of support for that adaptation. Now, one of the interesting things would be to see that how do developing countries who would like to put an adaptation element come up with numbers here, because most of the countries are still in the process of putting their maps in place, which are the primary vehicle of expressing what are the adaptation needs of the country, and whether there would be some kind of a process which will allow them to keep a placeholder in the INDCs that they submit next year, and then bring the map numbers in through that particular process into the INDCs or into wherever these INDCs are anchored. So that issue is one which is going to be in one of the highest, one of the high decibel issues to be discussed in Lima. The second part, which has now actually got very diluted, was the issue of what civil society was very keen on pushing forward, was the review of the numbers before Paris. And if these numbers are found to be inadequate, these numbers there should be a process of ratcheting up these numbers. Now, the text which the co-chairs have put forward recognizes that the adequacy has to be checked. It also calls upon all the parties that when they are submitting their INDCs, they should do so in context of the requirements which have been put forward by AR5, the IPCC, most recent IPCC report. But the process of considering these numbers, if you see, is really diluted down to the maximum. All that is needed now is just to push it over and kick it out of the text. It is more like a web chat, and it is actually literally a web chat if you look at it, because what the text says is UNFCCC Secretariat would put these numbers up, create a website, and on the website countries can, interested individuals, organizations, or countries can put up their questions to INDCs of a country, and the countries are encouraged to address that. So if you look at this element, the strong element which the civil society was asking for, it has practically been taken out. What does that mean? I think what it means is that one needs to carefully look at what will be the draft elements of a 2015 outcome. And possibly that is where the process of a more serious review and ratcheting up numbers would come in. In this context, it is quite interesting to look at the workstream 2 outcome, because there it talks about the continuation of workstream 2 till 2020. And possibly that is in terms of a parity, because most of the developed countries are not at this point in a position or keen to put forward any kind of an increase in their ambition pre-2020. And possibly one could see a ratchet up mechanism post-2020 and the pre-2020 increase in ambition being put together in the same basket. So from civil society perspective, trying to find an anchor which increases these numbers beyond what has been put forward, what are anticipated, is very important. Because if you look at the numbers which have come up, EU by far is the best number. And, I mean, it's 40% reduction by 2030, though it is kind of way below what is required. And CANSA had actually asked for at least 80% reduction, both including domestic and internationally supported. And then if you look at US numbers, they are actually quite low. Some of the estimations put it at 12 to 15% below 2025, and if you project the same trajectory to 2030, then it takes you down to about 20% below 1990 by 2030 for US. And similarly, if you look at the Chinese numbers, they have been very silent on what is the level of peak. It's kind of a very beautifully crafted political statement of that they will peak around 2030, but without actually mentioning what that level of peaking would be. And I think that level of peaking is very important, because there are some numbers which have come out now which say that China would peak at about 10 gigatons. If one looks at the weak 2-degree path, that would mean that China's emission would be roughly about 33% of the total global budget in 2030. And if you add to that the EU and the US numbers, the three put together, would account for slightly more than 50% of the EU numbers. So I think in that particular context, it is very important to have that ratchet up mechanism and check on the adequacy and seeing and fairness of or equitable contribution becomes an important aspect. What does that mean for India? I heard some of the remarks which were being made. Most likely, maybe it was Manish, talking that there are 3 studies going on which will come out in December, and most likely India might come out with a number somewhere between March and June. That's what has been the indications. Looking at some of the baseline emission, BAU emissions for India, Indian emission would be quite significant. And if one takes the 32 gigaton as the budget for 2030, Indian BAU emissions could be of the range of about 15%. Almost of the same order as US, but of course both are in 2 different situations. But it would be quite significant. The importance of that is that from 2 perspectives. One, that in the long run, if India has to start getting back to a level of emissions by 2050, which allows that space, which allows 2 degrees to be achieved, then there needs to be efforts which need to start much earlier, because increasing emissions till 2040 or peaking in 2050 is not going to be an option for India, but 2040, 2050 is way down the line. Now, I don't know what the numbers Indian studies are going to come out with, but it was quite interesting to see Jairam Ramesh's reaction to US numbers. And again, he reiterated the low carbon export group on low carbon numbers, which came out with 40% reduction of energy intensity by 2030 below 2007, I think, in that particular report. So there seems to be some indications as to which direction India might go, and I'm sure it would anchor it to what China has to offer, and it would wait for China to make its submission, because what China has said still is a vague statement, not a very concrete proposal in terms of what its INDC would be. And if you look at the studies, there's a whole range of studies out there looking at what an equitable share of different countries should be, and everyone uses a very different kind of a format. The maximum number which I have come across is a 22% reduction below BAU for India. Of course, that corresponds to a much higher level of reduction by US and China. But given, and I heard Sanjay asking about this 100 gigawatt, and I agree with Nitin that the government has been kind of quite happy throwing numbers around without actually looking at what those numbers mean in context of how much money is needed, whether one of the big issues with renewable is whether our grid actually is strong enough to take up that kind of renewable energy capacity. So, those kind of numbers are being thrown out by the government, but at the end of the day, it would be quite challenging for India to come out. India will have to come out with an NDC. It will have to be very clearly outlined as to what its directions are. There will be a lot of pressure after all these three countries have put up. So the important point for India would be to actually look at what it can do for energy efficiency and renewable energy, and that could be a form of target that India could take without limiting its developmental needs. But yes, I think as a civil society within India, for us it would be important to also highlight that Indian contribution, INDC, should not only be just what about India could do on its own, but it would be very important for government also to outline that what it could do beyond its own efforts, as that would help actually India achieve a trajectory which allows for a much steeper reductions at a later date. I think with that I'll stop here.
Thank you.
If there are any questions or clarifications.
Thanks,
Happy to answer.
Thank you, Sudhir. Just hold on.
Yeah, thank you very much, for sharing with us, and giving us an update on the INDCs, and also sharing